Hey guys, Reese here from Legends Guitar Academy, and in this video we're going to take a look at an A minor arpeggio over 3 octaves. Now I thought it would be a cool idea for a video because a lot of shapes that we use traditionally as guitar players for arpeggios are 2 octaves. So by looking at a 3 octave shape, not only is it one more better, which is maths, but it's a cool way to extend those arpeggio runs and to cover a bit more distance on the neck. I'm going to look at 2 different variations today, and the first one sounds like this. Now in today's example we're going to use octave chunking, and that's where we establish a pattern in 1 octave and then just use the same pattern to ascend or descend through other octaves. If we're going to have a pattern, we're going to need some notes. So what are the notes of an A minor arpeggio? Well, they are the same notes as an A minor chord, which are A, C and E, which spells ace. So I find it quite easy to remember because I just think that A minor is ace. Now, as well as notes, it's very handy to know what intervals we are playing. So the chord spelling for a minor triad is 1 flat 3 5. And in this case, 1 is our root note, which is A, our flat 3 is C, and our 5 is E. And intervals are really handy to know because no matter what minor chord you're playing, A minor, B minor, F sharp minor, whatever it is, the intervals will always be the same. It will always be built from a 1, a flat 3, and a 5. Now let's take a look at our first octave. We're going to start on the low E string where we're going to play A at the 5th fret. We're then going to play C at the 8th fret before moving to the A string where we find E at the 7th fret. So we have these 3 notes. And that is our chunk or our pattern that we're now just going to repeat as we ascend through octaves of A. So let's take a look at our second octave. Now we need to find our next A. And a good tip to find an octave is to go up 2 strings and 2 frets. So we started on A of the low E string. So I'm going to go up 2 strings. So I go from my low E to my A to my D. And then I'm going to go up 2 frets. So I started on the 5th fret. I'm going to go up to the 6th, to the 7th. And there is our next A. And when we're in that position, we are just going to play the same pattern. But this time we're going to play A on the D string at the 7th fret, C on the D string at the 10th fret, before we move to the G string where we play E at the 9th fret. So far we have this. If you're a beginner to intermediate, that might be challenging enough for you, and if it is, we can cap it at 2 octaves. And all we're going to do is play a 3rd A in the highest position, just so that you're playing from the root note A up to an A and then back down. In the 2nd position, we're going to play A, C, E as we did before, but we're just going to grab another A on the B string at the 10th fret. So our 2nd octave now sounds like this. This lends itself to a triplet feel, which is 3 notes per beat, which would be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, back to why we are here today, which is 3 octaves. So we've done 1 octave, we've done 2 octaves, so now we just got to check out our 3rd octave pattern. Now we already know where we're getting our A from. That is on the B string at the 10th fret. However, what is that I hear you say? Reese, you literally just told us to find the octave that we go up 2 strings and 2 frets, and that A at the 10th fret of the B string is actually up 2 strings and 3 frets. And that is simply because of the tuning of the B string. All of your strings are tuned to a 4th, your B string is tuned to a major 3rd. So whenever you use this octave chunking principle and you're looking for your next root note, as soon as you hit the B, you've got to go up 2 strings and then 3 frets. So I'll just quickly show you now. So here's our A in our 2nd octave, and I'm going to go up 2 strings, so from the D to the G to the B, and then I'm going to go up 3 frets, 1, 2, 3, and there is our A. Now our third octave, we've got A on the B string at the 10th fret, C at the 13th fret. We then move to the high E string and play E at the 12th fret. I find this pattern lends itself to groupings of 4. So if you were to practice against a metronome or a drum track, which I highly recommend, if you wanted to do 8th notes, it would be 2 notes per beat, and the way you would count it is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that would sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Or you could go ballistic math and play in 16th notes, which is 4 notes per beat. And the way you count 16th notes is 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E, which is like a real mouthful. Or you could just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you have seen the 1986 film Crossroads with Ralph Macchio, none other than the Karate Kid, you will know that at the end he takes part in a head-cutting guitar duel with the Devil's own guitar player, Jack Butler, played by none other than Steve Vai. And let's face it, if you were the Devil and you were picking a guitar player, Steve Vai would be a good choice. Now, if you haven't seen this movie, after you've checked out this video, go to YouTube and just search for Crossroads full head cutting duel and be prepared to witness some amazing guitar playing. You've got Steve Vai playing the shred stuff and you've got Ry Cooder playing the slide parts. Ralph Macchio actually defeats Steve Vai, spoilers, with a piece called Eugene's Trick Bag, which was actually composed and played by Steve Vai. So Steve Vai actually beat himself. But after the intro legato phrase, Steve Vai goes on to play a number of arpeggios, and the first arpeggio he plays is actually... So that's a great example of a legendary player employing 3 octave arpeggios. Now, our second variation sounds like this. Now the difference here is that we are adding another A at the top of the phrase, and the reason is because if you are doing any graded examinations, for example RGT, Trinity, Yamaha, whatever it may be, they will generally get you to play arpeggios and scales from the root note to the root note, unless you're dealing with like 9ths and 11ths and 13ths and things like that. But certainly with an A minor arpeggio, they'd want to get you to go from the root note to the root note, which is why I thought it would be a good variation to look at. Now, octaves 1 and 2 stay the same as before. However, we've got to adjust octave 3 to account for this new A. We're going to play the B string as normal, which is A, C. However, when we switch to the high E string, I'm actually going to play the E at the 12th fret with my index finger because I need to be able to stretch to the 17th fret to grab that A. So our third octave becomes this. And you might just want to practice that specific third octave part because it is a bit of a stretch. Now we're going to join it up and we're going to use a triplet fill. So again, that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And it'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's have a look at one more variation and we're just going to double up on the third octave. So we're going to play what we play in the third octave twice before descending. So I'll show you a count in 3s. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. So that is the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed it and you are tearing through those octaves. If you did, give us a like and subscribe. The tabs for today's 3 variations are over on our Instagram, link below. For tuition, coaching and lessons, head over to legendsguitaracademy.co.uk and find out more. I'm Reese and I shall see you next time.